What a pleasant surprise.
From a Park Avenue penthouse to one of television's most unforgettable catchphrases, Diff'rent Strokes became more than a sitcom. It became a cultural memory. But 48 years after its 1978 debut, the faces that once made millions laugh carry stories far beyond the screen. Sudden fame, painful struggles, surprising reinventions, quiet disappearances, and heartbreaking losses. What happened to the children, the parents, and the stars who shaped this classic show? Stay with us as we look back at the cast of Diff'rent Strokes, then and now, and uncover where life took them after the cameras stopped rolling. Gary Coleman portrayed Arnold Jackson, the little brother whose voice became the sound of Diff'rent Strokes.
Now that's what I call a surprise.
Born in Zion, Illinois in 1968, he was adopted by W.G. and Edmonia Sue Coleman and grew up with severe kidney disease that limited his height and required lifelong treatment. When he first appeared in 1978, he was 10 years old.
Arnold was a tiny storm in a Park Avenue penthouse, all bright eyes, folded arms, and fearless timing. The painful surprise was that a child who earned enormous fame later sued his parents and advisor over misused earnings, winning a $1.28 million judgment, but never escaping money strain. After the show, Coleman was often reduced to playing versions of himself, while dialysis, legal trouble, and isolation followed him. He died on May 28, 2010, from an epidural hematoma after a fall at 42. The world kept the catchphrase, but lost the child inside it. Conrad Bain portrayed Philip Drummond, the wealthy widower whose home made the series possible.
This is Kimberly, Miss Osborne.
Hi. Hello, Kimberly.
And this is our housekeeper, Adelaide.
Born in Lethbridge, Alberta in 1923, he was raised in Canada with his twin brother Bonar, served in the Canadian Army during World War II, and later trained in New York. When he first appeared in 1978, he was 55 years old. Mr. Drummond was a polished father figure in a Manhattan penthouse, soft-spoken yet immovable, offering order to children suddenly surrounded by privilege. A wound came later, as Bain watched the younger cast endure public trouble, and said it left him with a helpless feeling. After the show, he returned to stage work, appeared in Mr. President, and briefly revived Drummond on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yet his legacy stayed tied to the family he held together. He died of natural causes on January 14, 2013, at 89. He was the calm center of a story that lost its comfort. Todd Bridges portrayed Willis Jackson, Arnold's older brother, and the show's grounded, streetwise heart.
We had the same mama and papa. That'll do it. Want to show me up to Arnie's room? Oh, sure.
Born in San Francisco in 1965, he came from an acting family. His mother, Betty Bridges, was an actress, director, and manager, and his father, James Bridges Sr., was a talent agent. When he first appeared in 1978, he was 13 years old.
Willis moved through the Drummond home like a guarded teenager, carrying Harlem in his posture, loyal to Arnold, yet wary of easy rescue. The darkest verified detail is one Bridges later made public. He survived childhood sexual abuse, addiction, and criminal charges, while trying to separate the man from the sitcom boy. After the show, he rebuilt through sobriety, faith, a memoir called Killing Willis, and later work on Everybody Hates Chris. In 2026, he is 61, still appearing publicly and acting intermittently, carrying survival as burden and testimony.
Dana Plato portrayed Kimberly Drummond, the privileged daughter in the Park Avenue household.
Leave that guy? He wasn't born, he was defrosted.
It was like we're in the army.
Born Dana Michelle Strain in Maywood, California in 1964, she was adopted by Dean and Kay Plato, raised in the San Fernando Valley, and began commercials and skating as a child. When she first appeared in 1978, she was 14 years old.
Kimberly was soft light against the boys' chaos, a poised teenage presence in sweaters and sudden lessons about class. The tragedy beneath the image was that pregnancy, addiction, and grief collided with a career built too early. She left regular work on the series and later faced arrests and fading chances. After the show, Plato moved through low-budget films, hardship, and attempts at recovery, never fully outrunning the child star frame. She died on May 8, 1999, from a prescription drug overdose ruled suicide at 34. Her life remains television's fragile warning. Charlotte Rae portrayed Edna Garrett, the wise housekeeper who quietly became the soul of the Drummond home.
Here's the brandy.
Thanks, she doesn't need it now.
Born Charlotte Rae Lubotsky in Milwaukee in 1926, she grew up in a Jewish immigrant family and trained for the stage before television found her. When she first appeared in 1978, she was 52 years old. Mrs. Garrett moved through the penthouse like warm lamplight, with an apron, a raised eyebrow, and a voice that could turn a lecture into comfort. Rae spoke openly about alcoholism, family pain, and cancer, including pancreatic cancer that had taken relatives before she survived it herself. After Diff'rent Strokes, she carried Edna into the facts of life, then left that hit partly for health reasons, never escaping the motherly image she gave generations. She died in Los Angeles on August 5, 2018, after a public battle with bone cancer at 92. Her gentleness became her monument. Nedra Volz portrayed Adelaide Brubaker, the sharp older housekeeper who followed Mrs. Garrett in the Drummond home.
The chicken sulks if I don't baste it.
You'll meet.
Born Nedra Viola Gordonier in Montrose, Iowa in 1908, she was the child of vaudeville performers and appeared on stage as Baby Nedra before turning to music, radio, marriage, and family. When she first appeared in 1980, she was 72 years old. Adelaide was a tiny thundercloud in an apron, brisk, cranky, and funny enough to make wealth feel helpless. The quiet surprise of Volz's life was that her screen career bloomed only after most performers had retired. After Diff'rent Strokes, she kept playing lively older women on The Dukes of Hazzard, Filthy Rich, and The Fall Guy, working into her 80s before illness took her from public life. She died on January 20, 2003, in Mesa, Arizona, from complications of Alzheimer's disease at 94. She made old age feel like an entrance. Mary Jo Catlett portrayed Pearl Gallagher, the final and longest-serving housekeeper in the Drummond household.
You call me? Do I look that bad?
Born in Denver, Colorado in 1938, she came up through theater, comedy, and musicals, originating Ernestina in Hello, Dolly on Broadway before television made her a familiar face. When she first appeared in 1982, she was 44 years old. Pearl was brisk and funny, a practical woman in an apron who made the penthouse feel less rich and more human. The hardship in Catlett's story is not scandal but endurance. She spent decades as a character actress, recognized instantly while rarely becoming the headline. After Diff'rent Strokes, she kept working instead of chasing vanished sitcom glory, finding an unexpected late-life signature as Mrs. Puff on SpongeBob SquarePants. In 2026, she is 87, still linked to that voice role, her career appearing steady, private, and quietly triumphant. Dixie Carter portrayed Maggie McKinney Drummond, the woman who entered Philip Drummond's life as love and disruption.
Hi, honey.
Don't hi, honey me. I want to talk to you, but...
Born Dixie Virginia Carter in McLemoresville, Tennessee in 1939, she was raised in the South, studied music and theater, and built herself first as a stage actress. When she first appeared in 1984, she was 45 years old.
Maggie arrived like a bright curtain in the old penthouse, elegant and unfamiliar in a family viewers thought they already knew. The hard turn was that Diff'rent Strokes became only a brief stop, and she left after season 7, before finding the role that defined her, Julia Sugarbaker. Afterward, designing women gave her a sharper legacy, but later years led through cancer and a final screen appearance beside Hal Holbrook. She died in Houston on April 10, 2010, from complications of endometrial cancer, at 70. Her dignity outlived every room she entered. Mary Ann Mobley portrayed Maggie McKinney Drummond, stepping into a role already marked by change. Born in Biloxi, Mississippi in 1937 and raised in Brandon, she became Miss America 1959, the first woman from Mississippi to win the crown, before turning pageant fame into acting. Although she appeared on Diff'rent Strokes in another role in 1980 at 43, she first played Maggie in 1985 at 48. Her Maggie had the glow of an old Hollywood guest star, polished and kind, trying to make a recast feel like family. Beneath that radiance, Mobley lived with Crohn's disease and later faced stage 3 breast cancer. After the show, she moved through television, public service, and documentaries about hunger and homelessness, building a quieter legacy. She died at home in Beverly Hills on December 9, 2014, from complications of breast cancer at 77. Her grace kept speaking after applause ended. Danny Cooksey portrayed Sam McKinney, the new young boy brought in near the end of the Drummond story. Born Daniel Ray Allen Cooksey Jr. in Moore, Oklahoma in 1975, he was the son of Melody Ann and Daniel Cooksey, and his mother moved him to Los Angeles as a child, hoping he might build a country music career. When he first appeared in 1984, he was 9 years old. Sam was all blonde hair, sneakers, and restless kid energy, a light spark added to a sitcom already growing older. The emotional weight is quieter. Cooksey's childhood became a professional life early, on a famous show already fighting decline. After Diff'rent Strokes, he reinvented himself through Salute Your Shorts, Terminator 2, and voice acting, where his face no longer had to be the product. In 2026, he is 50, still remembered by several generations, living more like a working actor than a trapped former child star. Shavar Ross portrayed Dudley Johnson, the character often tied to the Ramsey name through his adoptive father, as Arnold's closest friend. Born in the Bronx, New York in 1971, he spent part of childhood in Georgia after his parents separated, then entered acting while visiting California. When he first appeared in 1980, he was 9 years old. Dudley was Arnold's bright schoolyard shadow, a companion whose smile made danger seem impossible, until the show turned childhood into warning.
Ross later revealed that while filming The Bicycle Man, he was enduring inappropriate touching by a family friend in real life. After the series, he worked in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, and Family Matters, then moved toward filmmaking, church work, mentoring, and online creative projects. In 2026, he is 55, living publicly as a former actor and reflective creator, more focused on meaning than fame. Dodie Goodman portrayed Aunt Sophia Drummond, Philip's eccentric sister and one of the show's fluttering comic visitors. Born Dolores Goodman in Columbus, Ohio, in 1914, she was the daughter of Leona and Dexter Goodman, studied dramatics and ballet, and built a stage career before television found her bird-like voice. When she first appeared in 1981, she was 67 years old. Aunt Sophia drifted into the penthouse like a lace curtain in a gust, sweet, meddlesome, and slightly unreal. Goodman's harder truth was professional. After becoming a sensation with Jack Parr, she was dropped and had to rebuild as a character actress. After Diff'rent Strokes, Grease, Mary Hartman, and voice work kept her recognizable but never ordinary. She died on June 22, 2008, at Englewood Hospital in New Jersey at 93, after a period of illness with no specific cause publicly announced. Her strangeness was her grace. Janet Jackson portrayed Charlene Dupre, Willis's girlfriend, a young spark from one famous TV family entering another. Born in Gary, Indiana, in 1966, she was the youngest child of Joseph and Catherine Jackson, and grew up inside a family becoming music history. When she first appeared in 1980, she was 14 years old. Charlene was a gentle teenage breeze through Willis's world, sweet, composed, and quietly glamorous before superstardom arrived. A painful detail Janet later shared is that body image struggles began when adults on Good Times judged her developing body while she was still a child. After Diff'rent Strokes, she turned pressure into independence with Control, Rhythm Nation 1814, roles, tours, and reinvention after public backlash damaged her career. In 2026, she is 60, still active after recent shows and residency work, a guarded icon who survived fame by taking back her name. Jason Hervey portrayed Charlie, one of Arnold's later high school friends, in the final stretch of Diff'rent Strokes. Born Jason Robert Hervey in Los Angeles in 1972, he was the son of talent agent Marsha Hervey and retail sales manager Alan Hervey, and began acting as a child. When he first appeared in 1985, he was 13 years old. Charlie arrived like a new locker room echo, a sign that Arnold's world was aging into teenage noise. The surprising hardship came after sitcom fame. While working in corporate communications for Health South, he stood near the edge of a massive scandal and later sued for severance. After Diff'rent Strokes, the Wonder Years made him unforgettable as Wayne Arnold, but he largely turned toward producing wrestling, reality television, and digital projects. In 2026, he is 54, still appearing publicly as an actor-producer, carrying the afterlife of an older brother. Stephen Mond portrayed Robbie Jason, Arnold's school friend whose small role quietly belonged to the classroom world of Diff'rent Strokes. Public records list him as born in 1971, and later profiles describe him as a former child actor originally from Los Angeles. Much of his family background remains private. When he first appeared in 1980, he was 9 years old. Robbie was the kid at the next desk, ordinary and believable enough to make Arnold's fame feels surrounded by real childhood. The emotional turn is that Mond left acting young, stepping away from a business that often consumes children before they understand the bargain. After early credits, including 1941, he built a life in education, becoming a Utah math teacher and reaching the finals of the 2018 Jeopardy! Teachers Tournament, where he won $25,000. In 2026, he is 55, far from Hollywood, remembered not for collapse, but for escape. Diff'rent Strokes began as a bright sitcom about family, but time turned its cast into a quieter story of fame's weight. Gary Coleman's childhood stardom followed him until his death in 2010. Dana Plato's struggles ended in tragedy in 1999. Conrad Bain, Charlotte Rae, and Dixie Carter carried long careers before passing on. Todd Bridges survived the storm and kept working, still linked forever to Willis.
What do we remember most? The laughter or the lives behind it? Some roles never end when the credits fade.